one. I had actually talked about a lot of substances and normal physics. Now I'm going to state what is astrophysics and quantum mechanics. Okay, quantum mechanics is kind of like a puzzle waiting to be solved. How to do this? By the way, I can actually do this at 15 minutes, but on real life, think of the world trying to help humanity and solve this puzzle. Think of the world solving this puzzle like this. Humanity doing this thing. It's a big thing, but it's actually not really easy. As you might think, this chart is really small on this chart paper. But I have mentioned nothing about the subatomic particles. There are thousands of that. And how to make chemical energy to oil. How does all these things form? Big Bang theory is enough, but that's not enough to piece together as the entire story. In fact, it takes us weeks, days, even years to finish one thing. Imagine you solving this puzzle for 2 years. What would it feel like? That's a big thing, and that's something about that. So it's like something like a puzzle piecing together, but in fact it's a large puzzle. It's kind of like over the expanses of space. We are trying to solve and take the entire story, but so far humanity has taken no information, and we only know 5% of the ocean. And that, if that doesn't surprise you, because we have only explored 5% of the ocean, that means we have not explored the rest of the 95% is a mystery to us. But only 3 people have landed to the Mariana Trench. Many people have gotten into the top of Mount Everest, but only so far around 29 people, 12 people have walked the moon. No people have gotten into Mars. No people have gotten into Mercury. No people have gotten into Venus. So no, not about that. Venus is a lot of pressure. But still, why haven't we pieced together the entire story? Think of this. How will it benefit us? This is one of the most asked questions, so I'm answering this. How will it benefit humanity? Check out Michio Kaku's and briefing so that you can actually understand that. Okay, back to the story. I mean, how? How will it help humanity? Well, to piece together the entire story, it helps humanity to understand how it will benefit them. Oh, think of something like this. And people say you that if you give me 200 pounds of chocolate, but over the special edition, I'll give you an iPad. This is kind of an example of how is that. So you decide to piece together why it occurred. Why he is giving an iPad in exchange for the special edition chocolate. It is so cheap. Maybe because it's not better quality. Maybe because nothing. That's why people tend to piece together this thing. Through that, we can understand how physics, the full story of physics, how it actually occurred. Although physics was discovered at only 1600s around Isaac Newton. But it is a real weird thing. It will actually help us to teleport. Imagine you just got into a time capsule and got into that area and go to your office time capsule. This could be the future. In fact, entanglement has already done small particles to go to an area which have gotten back to that area. That's teleportation. But yet, we only transfer the data of that thing. Data for our cells is what matters, not our cells themselves. So if imagine this area is that time machine which will give you back, or no, actually teleportation capsule, and this area is another area. You can actually go to lunch from Paris to New York by actually going into that capsule. Your cells are dead on the first station, but at the second station similar particles form a similar you. It matters the data of your cells, not the cells themselves. Although that might seem like a torture, check out CTP Gray. He says that it's a dead thing. That's a big mistake to point out. It's like torturing people. That's a big mistake because he doesn't believe in quantum mechanics. So far I have covered a lot of things. Let's go back to the thing. So I was around the periodic table, but I didn't explain what are there. They have reactive metals, base metals, etc. You might find anything or nothing sort of thing, but also we need to explain what is the antimatter. I had so far made one video about that of antimatter in YouTube. Antimatter and anti-atom are the same thing, except that their antimatter, which is also anti-liquid, etc. Has everything borrowed of the matter. I won't give it. And anti-atom means all the rest of atoms, the anti-periodic table. This is a map of anti-hydrogen. The same thing, I know it's the same thing of hydrogen, but actually these are these are actually electron and these are actually neutron. So it's kind of like an inverted atom. By the way, when you collide these two things, it forms the greatest explosion by E equals mc square. Means that mass and the speed the particles go upwards causes it to become mc square. That means double the square actually the speed of light, and this causes a lot of energy. The biggest atomic bomb could be made like that. This is the strong nuclear force. Let's now go to the periodic table to see some amazing things. So we learned that these actually got to gas, star and black hole. We have explained that so far. Let's now see these things. So we go from Big Bang to one thing known as vacuum. It never existed during the early forms because it was so dense. Again, it was so dense that it had no space except for particles until there were plenty of spaces. The original particles which have been a lot densely packed, which is now on my skin. You can see on your skin, anything. In fact, the camera we are taking from, anything that is matter except for energy, light, etc. Anything, this board, anything could be actually made of that particle. So that vacuum has two types of things we care about. Wait, I can't read that. Wait, what was that written on? Oh, it's just dark matter, just dark matter. This carries 65% of the unraveled universe, yet still this is not discovered yet. Dark energy is another thing. It contains around 20 around it was around that's extremely easy. That's 5 plus 9. Oh, that's exactly that thing. Okay, that is 14. So we have to add it with 13. I'm doing some math, guys. Don't worry, it will take some time. 14 plus 20 equals 34, and 34% of the universe. That's the thing. So that is that. That means 99% of the universe is unraveled. And only 1% is matter that we know. My hand, everybody, my 65 subscribers, my cameraman/producer. Let's just go out. So, vacuum, there are two types of things which are created by vacuum. Space-time. Space-time was actually, Einstein thought it as a fabric, kind of like this. If I kept it like this and put a barbell on it, it will create some gravity that I'm thinking, and that will roll around that. That's simple. And exotic matter, which is negative matter, meaning if I come close to another object, I will just be thrown away like this, unlike positively charged matter that tends to come together. This could be the possible thing for space-time, remember. So this is quantum mechanics. This is things, and don't forget to check out the channels I said, and don't forget to wait until stay tuned for my other videos of Operation YouTube Protocol. And so bye guys, see you next time.